I've got two stories for you today, and trust me, you'll want to hear them. First up, there's one that'll leave you even more confident that the SEC is on track to approve multiple XRP ETFs this year. Why does this matter? Because it's a total game changer for XRP's supply and demand dynamics, especially over the long haul across years and even decades. The exact impact on XRP's price? Impossible to predict. But let's just say the potential is nothing short of incredible. Demand for XRP is poised to shift in ways that could be absolutely transformational for early adopters like us. Now, the second story, it's a bit of a cautionary tale. Let's say you cash in big profits on your XRP holdings. Amazing, right? Good for you. And honestly, I think we're right on the edge of that kind of success. But if you're thinking about flipping those profits into another coin or a handful of cryptocurrencies, hoping to multiply your returns even further, you might want to pause and reconsider. Sometimes chasing the next big thing can lead you straight off the path you've worked so hard to build. Okay, here's why you might want to consider it, especially if you're in the United States, but let me be upfront. I'm not a financial expert. This isn't financial advice, and whatever I say or write shouldn't influence your decision to buy or sell anything. Big news in the crypto world, XRP makes waves as the SEC approves a NASDAQ index featuring XLF. This move by the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission could fast track the mainstream adoption of altcoins by giving a nod, intentional or not, to these major cryptocurrencies. With XRP now part of a key institutional benchmark like NASDAQ, it feels like a subtle stamp of approval from the SEC itself. That perception alone could drive significant new money into XRP and its fellow altcoins. The announcement comes with the SEC's green light for the revamped NASDAQ crypto index settlement price, INISIS, now expanded to include these assets alongside Bitcoin and Ethereum. Until now, Bitcoin and Ethereum have dominated, enjoying a kind of VIP treatment, but the doors just opened wider, leveling the playing field. This shift marks a new chapter for altcoins. With institutional attention now officially on them, the crypto landscape might never look the same. We're now entering a world that looks more like a level playing field than ever before. Think about it. XRP managed to hold its ground and thrive despite facing relentless attacks from the US government and constant smear campaigns by toxic Bitcoin maximalists spreading outright lies. Through all of that, XRP kept building, utility grew, fundamentals strengthened, and it only got better. If XRP could survive and thrive under those conditions, imagine what's possible now that the playing field is more balanced. This is the environment where XRP can truly shine. Why? Because it works. It's functional, useful, and built for real-world application. The shift we're seeing is monumental. It marks a turning point in crypto regulations, paving the way for altcoin-based ETFs and broader institutional interest. The addition of these cryptocurrencies to the NCIU's index marks a major milestone, signaling regulatory acceptance and proving these tokens meet the SEC's strict standards for inclusion under US securities laws. Pretty incredible, right? After years of confusion, setbacks, and endless hurdles, we finally arrived at a turning point. Thanks to the outcome of November's election, the US is now leaning pro-crypto, and here we are, XRP, finally being treated the way it always deserved. It's a sight for sore eyes watching the SEC actually take steps that benefit XRP. Who would have thought? This is just another reason why XRP continues to attract more money, especially on the institutional side. We're seeing momentum build, and it's only going to accelerate from here. This is the real test. The SEC is tacitly acknowledging XRP's legitimacy, but don't be shocked when XRP ETFs start getting greenlit later this year. It's coming. Big things are on the horizon, folks. All right, here's the scoop on what John Deaton had to say. He was amplifying someone else who highlighted a big win, and Deaton chimed in with this. 2 years ago, back in June 2023, the SEC was still claiming that all XRP were securities, even if bought without Ripple's involvement, whether through exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, or Uphold. Fast forward 2 years, and here we are. Deaton points to this, emphasizing the fight was worth it. Never quit fighting, right? Damn right, John Deaton. He's been a powerhouse in helping XRP holders achieve the outcome they were hoping for. His contributions were monumental. Now onto our second story. This one's a bit of a roller coaster. Cointelegraph reported that a musician made a cool $3 million selling NFTs only to lose it all to taxes and a crypto market crash. Yep, you read that right. It's a fascinating and slightly painful real life story. As wild as it sounds, it's a reminder of how unpredictable the crypto world can be. Let's be real. Some of you might be lucky enough to live in a place where taxes aren't an issue. And hey, if that's you, congrats. Seriously, hats off to you. I wish I could say the same here in the US, but unfortunately, that's not the reality for most of us. In fact, For many people around the world, taxes are a very real, unavoidable part of the equation. So here's the deal. You need to talk to a tax professional. No shortcuts. And trust me, a little planning before you hit that sell button could save you a world of hurt later. But here's where it gets critical. Don't make one massive mistake that could ruin everything. If you cash out your life-changing gains from XRB and immediately throw it all into another investment, thinking it's a surefire win, you're taking a massive gamble. If that next play doesn't pan out, you could end up financially wrecked, like bankruptcy level wrecked. No exaggeration here. This is serious stuff, so treat it that way. Let me tell you a story. It's fascinating on its own, but what this guy did with his NFT sales and how he handled the profits serves as a real eye-opener. And honestly, this could happen to anyone, even folks in the XRP community. Here's the thing. I truly believe we're on the brink of seeing life-changing wealth for many people, especially with XRP potentially hitting a massive blow-off top this market cycle, likely this year. If that does happen, I'm concerned. Some people might take their newfound profits and gamble them away, chasing even bigger gains. But if it goes south and you're in the US, you could find yourself in serious trouble with the IRS. Anyway, here's the story. Jonathan Mann, the NFT artist and musician behind the Song a Day project, turned his crypto tax nightmare into a catchy cautionary tune. On podcast, Mann dropped a new track recounting how he made $3 million selling his entire music catalog as NFTs, only to watch it all vanish when the Terra ecosystem collapsed. This is the story of how I made $3 million and lost it, Mann sings, adding, and how I owed the IRS more than I made in the last 10 years. Ouch. If you've been around crypto long enough, you might already know Mann. His work has made waves before. Some of his songs have gone viral in the crypto space. No, he doesn't exclusively write about crypto, but he does crank out a song every single day. Some are hits, some are less polished, but he's got a knack for turning headlines into music. One of his standout crypto tracks, a song about Gary Gensler that had the community buzzing. Love him or not, Mann's creative takes are hard to ignore, and this latest track adds another layer to his unique, chaotic journey. When you're deep in crypto, it's easy to ride the highs and forget the lows, until they hit you like a freight train. That's exactly what happened here. He had life-changing wealth in his hands, but the chance slipped away. Why? Greed? It's a tricky thing, isn't it? My 2 cents. If you ever find yourself with life-changing money, maybe, just maybe, it's worth locking it in, play it safe. But then there's that little voice whispering, what if it goes 10x? What if this is just the beginning? Sure, it might. But what if it doesn't? What if the cycle flips and your gains vanish like smoke, dropping 80% overnight? The truth is, no one can perfectly time the market. You'll never sell at the top. It's a fantasy. What if the real target isn't about hitting the market's peak, but finding a number that's truly life-changing, a figure so satisfying that even if you never discover what happens next, whether it soars higher or drops, you're content in a vacuum. Maybe that's the mindset we should aim for. Personally, that's how I approach things. Now, on to the story. It all started on January 1, 2022. Mann sold 3,700 songs as NFTs, each fetching $800, raking in a jaw-dropping $3 million, all in Ether. Overwhelmed with excitement, but lacking a game plan, he and his wife decided to hold on to the cryptocurrency, betting on Ethereum's value rising even higher. We didn't have a plan, Mann admits in his song, but things took a sharp turn. Ethereum's value plunged that same month, leaving them paralyzed, unsure of how much to sell or when. To make matters worse, the IRS came knocking, reminding Mann that NFT earnings are taxed as income. When it comes to taxes, timing is everything. For instance, the tax on ETH is calculated based on its value at the time it's received, no matter if its price plummets later. That's exactly what happened here. Despite their $3 million in ETH crashing in value, the tax bill didn't budge. To avoid selling at a loss, they took out a loan through Aave using some of their ETH as collateral. Then the market took a nosedive. A massive crash triggered liquidations across the board, wiping out their loan in an instant. In a flash, 300 ETH was gone. A lifetime of effort vanished. It felt like everything I'd worked for disappeared in seconds, they shared. Here's the kicker. Even if you reinvest your gains and the value tanks by 80% or more, you're still on the hook for taxes. The government doesn't care about your losses. They only count profits. Even if you lose money elsewhere, the government still wants its cut from your XRP profits. Frustrating, right? That's why I've set some strict rules for myself. Once I cash out at a profit, that's it. I'm done reinvesting, no exceptions. I don't care if there's a golden opportunity to 10x those gains. I'm not falling into that trap. Once I take profits, they're off the table for the rest of the cycle. The only scenario where I might put any of those profits back into crypto is in a full-blown bear market after prices have crashed by 70 to 90%. Then maybe, and I mean maybe, I'll reinvest 5-10%. Otherwise, the only money I'll put into crypto is fresh income I earn moving forward. That's my rule. Fresh money, sure, I'll throw that into crypto. But once I've taken profits, they're locked away, no second guessing, no regrets. When it comes to riding the profits of a bull run, the answer is a hard no for me. I'm all about protecting my gains because honestly, there are way too many ways to mess it all up. And that's exactly the trap this guy fell into. He had the profits until suddenly he didn't. He didn't lock them in and the tax bill came knocking. Here's where it gets wild. Scrambling for a solution, he spent months with his accountant dissecting every transaction to figure out how much he owed. The verdict? A jaw-dropping $1,095,171.79. Talk about a bad day. With the looming threat of liens on his home and the potential loss of his wife's retirement account, he had one last ace up his sleeve, a rare autoglyph NFT he had picked up way back in crypto's early days. Desperate, he tried selling the NFT on X, but the reception was icy. Then a broker came through with a lifeline, a client willing to pay $1.1 million for it. The man agreed to the deal and paid off the IRS taxes, ultimately catching a lucky break in this wild tale. But wow, what a tangled, messy road to get there. Here's the twist. Because of the losses he took on the Aave loan, he didn't owe capital gains taxes from selling the autoglyph. A small silver lining in an otherwise chaotic journey. It's bittersweet to be done, he reflects, wrapping it all up like a song lyric. Despite everything, he's still out there, writing daily tunes and selling them as NFTs, holding onto hope that another 3 million payday might be in his future. So take this as your cautionary tale, folks. Tax rules can be a maze, and your situation depends on when you bought, how long you've held, and so much more. Seriously, talk to a real accountant. Don't wing it. This is exactly the kind of thing to bring up with your trusted tax pro. Keep this in mind. If you're selling at a profit, especially in places like the US, you're likely going to face a tax bill. Whether or not you have the cash to cover it, you'll still owe it. So play it smart. Don't blow through your profits recklessly. Stay sharp. Just a heads up. I'm not a financial advisor. Making buy or sell decisions based on what I say or write, yeah, that's a terrible idea. Seriously, don't do it.